Hi guys. So we're back with another video, and if you haven't met us yet, my name is Vianna.
My name is Ashley.
And this is
This video we will be talking all things horoscope. Well,
our
not all
favorite.
things. Yeah, we're gonna say the most toxic signs. We asked some questions on Instagram to see what people thought the most toxic signs were, and we're gonna go based on that because we don't want to be
biased. But I'm gonna let you guys know from now. I don't know which is the most toxic sign.
So she says.
So I say, of course. But guys, make sure that you also comment down below what you consider to be the most toxic sign.
And why specifically.
Yes, you definitely want to know that. So disclaimer guys, this is our opinion. That doesn't mean that, you know, let's say I say that I'm a Sagittarius. So let's say Sagittarius is the most toxic sign. That does not mean that all Sagittarius are toxic. It's just like our input based on our own experiences. Of course, like I said, it's not a general thing. It's just like based on our experience, based on what we got on Instagram. That's just what we're going to share with you guys. And don't take it personal. We love you all, okay? If you haven't seen our Q&A, our Burger King short Q&A, where we list our birthdays and our zodiac signs, you should watch that. But I'm a Sagittarius.
I'm a Pisces.
First of all, we got a lot of, so the sign that we mostly got that were considered toxic were Cancers and Geminis.
Of course.
Now, other people also commented things, and then, so for example, like let's say someone said, I'm going to use Sagittarius, let's say someone said a Sagittarius is a toxic sign, people would swipe up and be like, yes, they're toxic because A, B, and C. But from the people who actually answered, the ones we got the most was Cancers and Geminis. Now, Ashley, you could start because you
know. So with the whole Cancer, not that familiar, but I can see. I'll let you talk about that one. But Geminis, I can see why people think that's the most toxic sign, because a lot of people feel like Geminis usually are bipolar in a sense, where they have like, but they just like switch. Their moods could switch easily, so I think that's why people see it. They
like have that misconception of them.
Yeah, I just think is that they're quick to react, which can make it seem like they're very bipolar, but that's very I feel like Geminis and Pisces don't go together at all. Relationship wise, they just don't. I feel like friendship wise they do mix, but not in relationships. So I can agree that I don't think they're the most toxic. I'll say most toxic.
You think that they can be toxic though?
I think they can be toxic. This is from my experience. I think Geminis hate being wrong, so they don't like to be told that they're wrong. So at least even if they know they're wrong, I feel like you have to know how to tell them they're wrong without telling them they're wrong, if that makes sense. You know, you shouldn't like have to baby everyone, but sometimes you have to know how someone is to be able to, you know, have a, how do I say this, like have a relationship with them, have a solid relationship, but they don't like being wrong. So if you know a Gemini, I recommend never telling them that they're wrong like that. Like
know how to say it, maybe sugarcoat it. Is that what
yeah, like sugarcoat how you're gonna say that they're wrong. Not like
sometimes you have to cater to them. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, sometimes you have to cater to, you know.
Oh guys, you have a camera.
So the battery's dying.
So we're fishy like YouTubers, because like now we can say that type of thing. But alright, so I'm just gonna say my toxic, what sign I consider to be the most toxic, and ding ding ding, you guessed right, it was Cancer. But so okay, disclaimer again, the sign that's most predominant in my life is Cancers. The people that I love the most, who I can like put on a pedestal, are Cancers. However, because of that, I think I can say that Cancers easily could be considered one of the most toxic zodiac signs. Now, I'm not gonna go with the whole like misconception that it's because they're emotional, because I don't think it's because they're emotional. Like, you have to accept people for who they are. And some people, and personally I feel like being emotional is good. I think people who are afraid of their emotions they have more trouble than someone who's willing to like wear the emotions on their sleeve. So I don't say anything wrong with them being emotional. However, I think them being emotional sometimes causes them to push people away because they don't want to create more emotions towards someone, or like they second guess everything about themselves and the relationship they have in their life. And I feel like that can be toxic because similar to Geminis, at first they're very like on top of you, they're very like, they cater to you, they mold to who you are, but then with time they tend to push away because it's almost like they become afraid of like becoming one with you. And I've seen that in relationships, I've seen that in friendships, and I've seen that in family members that are Cancer too. And that's what I feel like would make them the most toxic. Now, I think a couple people listed why they believed Cancers to be toxic. Give me a second. Someone said, ooh, can't find it exactly here, but I remember having conversations with people. And okay, so one person said that they love to play the victim, and that's definitely something I've seen in some Cancers, of course, disclaimer, not all, where it's like what I'm mentioning, they notice that like they can do something wrong, but they'll still find some way to blame it on you. So let's say we're gonna use our favorite example, this I like to call the Ashley example, where let's say they step on your shoes. And you tell them like, oh, you stepped on my shoes, you've done it a couple times, I don't necessarily like that. They're gonna be like, no, but I stepped on your shoe because you always have your foot in the way. And that I have seen in Cancers. I'm not sure if it's a way to like not have to express themselves, what the case may be, but for me, I believe Cancers are the most toxic sign. I, as a Sagittarius, I quote, I as a Sagittarius think, do not recommend Sagittarius and Cancers. I think they don't go well unless they're mature on both ends. Sagittarius straight as well. Some people, I also had someone say Sagittarius are toxic, and that is Sagittarius straight. Like, it's true though. It is like if you're a certain type of person, you won't be able to understand how Sagittarius like to roam free, and I can see how that could be toxic for someone to not stay in one place and feel like they have to go from place to place. So I get that.
I also think it depends on your sign.
Mm-hmm.
That's another 100%. Thing. Like a lot of it, there's no number one toxic sign, no worst sign. It depends on who you are, who's compatible with you. I don't know. I think also depends like what you have in your chart. Like I feel like I just don't mix with Geminis, but I also have some Gemini in my chart, so maybe that's why. But Pisces don't mix with Geminis.
Yeah,
they go together supposedly with other water signs, which I don't understand why. With like Cancers and Scorpios, but especially Cancers, like you said, they're emotional. Pisces are emotional, so I don't know how two overly emotional signs could go together, but supposedly they do.
I think it's because of that, because it's like what I'm saying. So the
dynamic is too much, because it's like you're crying and I'm crying. Imagine like,
which makes sense, but so that's why I say like, for example, in my case, like a Sagittarius and the Cancer dynamic, that's kind of where the issue is, because Sagittarius are more laid back. Like I'm the type of Sagittarius that I do have emotions, and I'm pretty sure a whole bunch of them do, but I'm full of emotions, and I'm very like very understanding, very empathetic, very sympathetic. But if you're Sagittarius, like most, that even I have those moments where like, you know, you could be going through stuff, and I myself am gonna sit there and be like, it's not that serious. So if you're that type of Sagittarius where like, not literally, it look like you looked at me like what, but understand other people's emotions, it just won't go well. So that's what it is. The Cancer Sagittarius dynamic is meeting halfway and like understand.
The camera died, so we're back.
I don't necessarily remember where I was going with my whole Cancer rant. Point blank period. For me, that's one of the most toxic signs. Maybe because similar to what Ashley said, like it could have a lot to do with my personal sign, my birth chart. But end of the day, I would not change my Cancers for anything in the world. So I guess maybe, I don't know, maybe me saying they're toxic is not completely valid because I love them. But yeah, with Geminis, I can't necessarily speak on. I really don't know much about Geminis. I know the dynamic of like who they are, like I know their personality traits, but I've never like really been around a Gemini. I've never really dated one. Never like really paid much attention to them. I do know that Sagittarius and
that's me.
Guys, I'm a little blunt, but I know that Gemini and Sagittarius go really well together. I just haven't haven't really explored that. So
really,
yeah, they're supposed to go really well because they're quote unquote similar. I feel like that's what I've heard before. I don't like I can see, because the thing is that like Geminis could be like once you get to know them, they're very submissive. And then Sagittarius, we're kind of like never submissive, but we still also go with the flow. So I can see how they go well together. And then they could be, they're very adventurous, very willing to like try new things. So that I can see how that pairs well together.
They are.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're always willing to like mold to other people. Like they're not selfish. I feel like
yeah, they're not. And I can see how that works together, like a Gemini and Sagittarius. I just personally haven't been around them.
I feel like they do like adventure, trying new things. And they get along with most people. That's one thing. Like the fact that they can like switch on and off, how people like to say, they do.
Works to their advantage also to an extent, because if they do get along with everyone, then that's a good thing. I can see how like in the long run it might be an issue, but one thing I've noticed that mood swings are a human trait. It does not matter what sign you are. It just comes with yes, right here, Queens mood swings. Like it's just a human trait. It happens. We need to recharge here and there. It's okay.
Yeah, let's make it. Let's normalize mood swings.
Yes.
2020.
Hashtag.
What else? Oh, Scorpios.
Yes.
I feel like Scorpios
are Scorpios
very toxic because they're very. Why?
Okay, so well, I wouldn't say I love them, but I do love them. My two favorite signs are Libras and Scorpios. I don't know, maybe I'm choosing the signs that are very like easy to mold, because they are very easy to mold signs, both of them. But I like Scorpios. I like them because most Scorpios are very analytical, they're very philosophical, and I'm like that. Like I can really talk a lot, guys. Like I like people who I can sit with and talk about water, and Scorpios give me that like that drive to always want to talk about everything. Like we click really well when it comes to like intellectual. So that's why I really like Scorpios. But I can back you up. I can see how they're toxic. Like I definitely can see
they're
how
very
toxic.
Manipulative. So it's like sometimes
that's the word for Cancers, guys.
Yeah, sometimes it's a trick. So they come off as, very understanding, like but the thing with Scorpios too, that they're very messy. So if, again, my favorite example, if you step on a Scorpio when y'all were 5, y'all could be 30, and then like he or she, based on like how we're talking, they'll plan the perfect comeback. Like they're always going to remember. And I feel like that's a very toxic trait to have, especially in relationships. Because if you are with someone and something happens, you guys split up, but then you guys forgive each other supposedly and get back together, but you're still remembering the past and you're waiting for the perfect comeback, that's very, very bad in the relationship. Because like they're gonna do everything right to then hit you where it hurts the most.
Yeah.
And that's a trait that I've seen in a lot of Scorpios. And I love Scorpios. Like, my dad is a Scorpio, but...
I was going to say that. Someone just said that Scorpios are very manipulative. And I'm sorry, but real quick, someone said that that they love Geminis, but they're very toxic. Someone else mentioned, what was it? Sorry. Someone else also mentioned Geminis. And then another person mentioned that Geminis, because they're fake AF. I don't want to curse, but... maybe that comes from like the whole two-sided thing. Maybe like did I just say myself? That might come from the whole two-sided thing. Maybe like that gives people the impression that they're fake.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say that they're fake, because I feel like Geminis tend to be very blunt. They do tell people a lot of the time.
You know what it is? I feel like sometimes people confuse fake with being friendly. And don't get me wrong, because I'm one of those people who kind of have that issue where like I kind of sometimes I'm like, okay, this person's so friendly, like I might have to be careful with how they are. But like in reality, some people are just easy to just get along with everyone. Like for me, I might think that friendliness could be an issue, but for someone looking at me from the outside, they're probably like, this girl is the most social girl ever. So you never really know. So I think that's what people are confusing, like Geminis for being fake. They're seeing them as friendly.
Yeah, I think that would be it, because they are very friendly, but I don't think, fake, anybody could be fake. But I feel like it's maybe the fact that they do get along with most people, and sometimes it's like, if you get along, let's say with someone like me, you can't get along with someone of a certain different character. But I used to think like that before, but now I learned that you can just be friends with someone and be friends with someone else. You can like different things, and a lot of people mold. So like if you're with this friend, you're not gonna act the same way that you act with your other friend, because you're gonna act according to how they act.
Yeah, regarding the Scorpios, I guess it's because they're very charming sign. Like that's also probably another reason why I like them. They're so easy to like sit with, talk with, all of that. They're very charming.
Yeah.
I can see how that could make them toxic. I think again, this back to the whole disclaimer thing. I think sometimes the problem is mostly with like individuals who perceive themselves to be one way, and then the more you get to know them, you're like, oh wait, like,
okay, yeah, like when you have like longer, meaningful relationships with,
yeah, you're like, okay, so where was this trait before?
Yeah, but like overall, I feel like they are like, you know, they're another sign that I feel like they're easy to get along with. I feel like they're very caring, but they're toxic. But that was
the third. So for a third toxic sign, it was Scorpio mixed with Virgos. A lot of y'all was not liking Virgos, and I see it, why, but I like don't see it to the extent that other people did. Virgos.
What is it that we say about Virgos? I forgot.
Listen,
but I know.
I ain't gonna point no fingers, but I've heard a couple things about Virgo men.
Oh yeah. And
I think that's what the problem is. But I genuinely don't know. I think Virgos are one of those signs that have a very strong personality. So if like you don't know how to mold to like the whole strong personality thing, it might be difficult to like get along with them. They're also very like nurturing, caring, but they are not like nurturing, caring like Cancer. They're nurturing, caring to the point where they're like could be a little bit more aggressive. So maybe that's what gives them makes them feel toxic. Like I'm not sure if someone listed why exactly.
I don't know that many Virgos.
I know a good amount, but I generally wouldn't consider them toxic. I see how they have toxic traits. You know what I would say
about them though? They are the type, you know, based on like the few Virgos that I know. I don't know, but you know when someone's a masochist, like they like more of like the people who reject them than the people who are like nice to them. I see that.
But I think that comes from them having a strong personality. I think when you have a strong personality, a part of you still wants to be toned down, and I feel like that could be it. I could be wrong, but I feel like that could be it. But I can't really. I know a good amount of Virgos. I personally don't feel like they're toxic. I can see how they could be toxic, and if anything, I can see how they could be toxic in a relationship. But me personally, when I think of toxic, I'm thinking about like the whole package, not just in a relationship. Because you can be toxic as a parent, you could be toxic as a friend. Like that's what when I think of toxic, that's what comes to mind. Not necessarily like in a relationship, because I feel like that's not fair to judge someone based off just a relationship. We also got Miss Pisces. Someone said Pisces because they're very manipulative. So
no, they're not.
I'll let you explain yourself there.
I don't think I'm manipulative. Like I don't see it. I don't know.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? I'm the sweetest. If anything, people say, you know, get your Pisces if you want to be loved the right way. Now, I don't know why people say toxic. The Pisces will be toxic. I don't see them as manipulative. I do see like
I
Pisces.
think it's just charming.
I think Pisces men are that, like they're charming, but they're also like just charming. Like it's like you might think they're in love with you, but it's just that they're charming.
Okay.
Like yeah, so that's the thing that people confuse. Like for you to be like a gentleman, and then I feel like they could be like the biggest, you know, players, stuff like that. But that's Pisces men, not women. So don't get it twisted. I'm like, I don't know. I don't see how they are toxic though.
I know my fair share of Pisces too. I can't say they're toxic. Yeah.
I don't see how like how do you say? Because I feel like when someone's like toxic, I would say like someone who brings a lot of like negative energy, who has a lot of like bad traits. Like I see how they can be toxic in the sense of like maybe being emotional, and a lot of people who are emotional hide that side of them, so that's why they can be distant. That's one thing. Like Pisces men, because it's a water sign. Water signs are emotional.
All I'm saying is it sounds like the water signs.
Yeah, now it does sound like water signs are bad, but water signs are very emotional, and some people are afraid of their emotions. So you might find like let's say a Cancer or Pisces who likes to show their emotions, and you're like, oh, I can see how they're emotional, but then there are the ones who are emotional but don't show it. And then that's dangerous, because you might think like, oh, this person doesn't even care about me, but it's just like they're afraid to show their emotions, and that could be a little toxic. But
I see that.
Not to the full extent. I feel like you understand someone, you'll see where they're coming from.
Also got I just saw someone was a Cancer. They are nuts. But so we have Libras, and it says Libras tend to be indecisive or decided. They won't decide with you because they feel justified. So I think what they're trying to say is they either moans, so they're either like completely, you know, they completely know what they want, or they go with what you want. But if they feel like they won't decide with you because they feel just, it seems like they're like one of those people where it's like, I'm always right. That's what I'm kind of getting from this.
Yeah, but that's in the sense that they're indecisive, I can say I think they are indecisive. Yeah. And I also feel like they like most people to feel comfortable, so they are willing to let someone else decide. I don't see how they always think that they're right, because, you know, I know my fair share of like Libras, and they can testify when they've been wrong, especially if you have proof that they were wrong, you know. Not like hint a Gemini that would never say they were wrong. But I feel like they can say when they're wrong.
I think Ashley is low-key trying to change her toxic sign.
It just depends on the day. Like, you ask me tomorrow, I might say something else. Like, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't say someone's like the worst, because it also depends on the day and like experiences that you've had. But everyone has like toxic in them.
Yeah, something like zodiac signs could be very biased, because of course you go based off of your experiences. You don't, you know, like it's not like a fact when you say this is the most toxic sign. Maybe we should Google that.
Oh yeah, I was saying, do you think everyone sees you the same way? You were saying.
Okay, so we kind of had this conversation earlier. While it was charging again, so I guess.
Camera is a liar, because it charges, it's full, it charges.
But I was saying yes. Originally I said yes, because I feel like most people think the same thing about me. They get the same version of me. But then she brought up a valid point. I realized, like, no, not everyone gets, not even okay, so I guess everyone does get the same version of me for the most part. Like, I am
like you're yourself.
Maybe like a little bit, you know, like I was having conversation with someone, there's certain things do change. Like, of course, like when you first meet someone, you're more likely to be sweeter to them, and then like with time you become friends with someone, and I could be like, yo, Ashley, ugly, but like I'm not gonna tell someone I just met, like no, but you know what I'm saying? Like, when you become close to a girlfriend, you call them like the B word. But I'm not gonna come up to a girl that I just met and be like, yo, you know. But so I guess I feel like I'm the same version of myself to everyone, other than maybe like people I just recently met. I might be a little bit sweeter, but I think not everyone has the same perception of me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Talking about signs, but maybe we're the toxic ones, who knows. But I guess that does play a lot into it, like what part of you allow other people to see. And again, from the pattern that I'm seeing here, it seems as though most like the signs that are charming are the ones that are being labeled as toxic. And maybe they're just not toxic. Maybe you just feel like they're toxic because they know how to woo their way into you.
What do you think is like a charming sign?
I think Cancers are charming, and the reason why I say Cancer charming is because Cancers are those signs who they cannot know anything and they'll find a way to teach you something. Like Libras technically are charming, and it's because of the whole thing where like they know how to mold to who they're around. So if we're talking about water, they can have a whole deep conversation about water and know nothing. Like, so I guess charming would be someone who's easy to get along with, someone who makes you feel like home. And I feel like Cancers have that trait because they're so nurturing, and Libras too. Like, I personally find those signs to be very nurturing.
I feel like Libras are charming.
But your sign has that too. Pisces for the most part, they're very like loving, so like that also is considered charming, where they're like, Ashley's like no, they're charming, so they could be like, they're very loving, so like that makes you feel like,
not I.
You are very loving, just not right away, but you are. It makes it more, like we were saying, it makes it more worth it.
Alright, but then I can see how they like little things that they do, you know that you actually do mean something to them. Like, I know she wouldn't give everyone the attention that she's giving me right now. I don't know, she doesn't listen to everyone, so I know I'm like special to her or to him, whatever.
Yeah, so we just went on a whole conversation on love languages. Did you notice that? Guys, comment below, that should be another like topic or whatever.
Oh, actually our first, wait, was that our first? Because we said that was our first. But our first video was going to be on like the worst toxic signs. I'll show you some clips. Vianna, of course, was ranting.
Clearly my toxic sign has not changed since then.
Yeah. Do we have anything else we have to add?
Let me see. We covered Libra.
Oh, we said we were gonna Google what Google had to say. Like, so I remember I Googled something. What was it that I told you? Signs that were most likely to... I forgot.
I don't remember. I was definitely gonna Google the most toxic sign. Toxic. What are you gonna Google?
Yeah, I'm gonna Google that. Oh. Okay. So
Juicy.
I just clicked the first search on Google. Of course, Google is not reliable, students. This is her way. It's called Her Way, Donna. Clicked into the first search that I found on Google, because obviously Google is not reliable. We know this is like other people's opinion, but it's interesting to hear. So the number 1 is Taurus. And it says this sign is obsessed with control. If they are in a relationship, they have to take care of every single detail.
I generally feel like Taurus
Okay, it's a little bit long. It's like a whole paragraph on each sign. I just read the first one.
Ooh, and look at the second one.
And the second one, I was like, ooh, when I saw it, it was like Gemini. The first line is, Gemini is toxic for one reason only. They simply don't know what they want in life. And when they are in a problem they have to solve, they will choose the easiest way out.
Ooh.
That's not where I went with it, but
that's what I'm saying about like the whole Sagittarius thing.
Sounds like a personal thing.
Yeah, that's
what they have.
Her way clearly is a little biased.
Then third was Leo. Leo will always pretend that they are the only victim in the relationship and that you are neglecting them.
Actually, guys, I got Leos too. So the pattern that I picked up that time that it was posted was that from Gemini to Virgos, people were like, no, those need to go. Like, everyone was just like, those signs are not it.
4 is Scorpio. And it's in caps. It says danger, high voltage. Scorpio is seriously crazy when it comes to relationships. It's like they play mind games. See, I was telling you guys, they're manipulative. Their partners and drive them as crazy as possible.
I don't know why, but I feel like one of our signs.
See, they are ultimately masters in brainwashing. I feel like they are
intelligent, but that's what, like, I love them. They've never.
But that's what I'm saying. They are intelligent, but like, unless you know something like that can be like, imagine being hurt by someone you don't think is like.
That would hurt you.
Yeah. Capricorn. I don't see them as being toxic. I love Capricorns.
I don't really say anything wrong with Capricorn.
I'm not even gonna read it because this is biased, but I love Capricorns. I don't think they're toxic. So I would say.
What's the second one?
Let's go to the second list because again, Google's not reliable. Most toxic.
One of ours is first. We were soulless.
Wait. Okay, the first one is Aries. And this one has like a letter for everything. We're not gonna read the paragraph, just what it says. Aries, and it says they're selfish.
Actually, sorry to the Aries, I know, but
I think I told you that before about how they are selfish.
They are. They're very like, I'm gonna ask you about you so you could tell me about myself, so I could talk about myself. I feel like that's what I always start. Maybe that doesn't make them like too selfish. Like, depending who you are, it might not be an issue, but I can see how that labels them as selfish. But wait, they're considered toxic?
Yeah, this is toxic.
Oh,
they were number 1 on this list.
Okay.
Guess who's number 2?
Well, is Sagittarius?
No.
Okay. I got scared.
No, the number 1 on last list.
No,
Taurus.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. But so about the Aries things, I have experienced toxic Aries in my life. We'll leave that for some other time. But they can be very toxic. I can definitely say that, because now that I'm thinking about it, the selfishness thing makes a lot of sense.
I remember telling you this one time.
You did?
Because I've experienced that, like, both in friendships and in like relationships with Aries. Like, they tend to be selfish, and that's something I can't get past.
But selfish in a way that you don't know they're being selfish.
Yeah, because they will never admit to being selfish. Because there's the thing, like, some people are selfish and you can tell. It's like they're like, oh, but like my cup needs to be bigger, and they'll say little things that you're like, okay, I know you're selfish, but I don't think they would admit. Or Taurus never being sorry. I disagree. Like, I see how Taurus are stubborn. I agree more with the last one. Taurus, they are apologetic. I have so many Taurus in my life.
But okay, but remember how you always say this thing where you're like, that sorry is just a word. What if? So then, What do you think? Do you think they say sorry because they're just apologetic, or do you think that they're not sorry and they just, you know, like, you know what I'm...
One thing that I would say about Taurus is like they do tend to, like, they go well with the animal that corresponds to them is the bull. So like a bull, you will play with them, they won't do nothing. They're deadly, but they're deadly at the moment when they're already tired.
I just noticed starts with Taurus. It's Taurus because the toro, because it's Spanish.
Yeah, the toro. And they are like, they're perfectly, I feel like if a sign is perfectly described by their animal, that's the one. Like, they are that way. So I think, let's say you, again, they step on you, like you stepped on me, they're like sorry, and then they're always like sorry, and then it's like it's been 3 months. That's in your
dictionary. Actually, example. Okay.
Someone steps on you. That way you don't offend people when you're saying examples. And then it's like it's been months of them stepping on you, and then they're like, okay, you know what? Like the day that they blow up, they're like, you know what? I've been stepping on you for months. It's because you do this, and they blow up. And it's like, okay. They were saying sorry as you go along, but they were not really. So I can see that. Third is Gemini, twisting the truth.
Really good size this.
Oh, it says twisting the truth, but I don't see how that's not what we said earlier. And guess who's next? Cancers.
Oh.
I don't think they're it says emotionally manipulative. I think you said something.
They are emotionally manipulative. Like that's also something I got a lot in the cancer. People who order that cancer are more toxic. They are emotionally manipulative, and it's like to save their emotions. At least from what I can tell, what I've experienced, they do it for that reason.
It says Leo. I can pronounce that word. First one.
It says malignant narcissism. Leos are known for being narcissistic, so I can see that. I'm not sure whether I pronounced the first one correctly.
That's how I was like.
But I actually did get Leo. I didn't mention it, but I did get Leos actually. And people who got the people who named Leos were signs like were, from what I remember them to be, they were Aries, Taurus mentions a Leo, a Virgo mentioned a Leo, those type of signs. So technically strong signs mention Leos. They're malignant narcissists. Personally, I've dealt with Leos before. I've dealt with a good amount of Leos. I don't really think they can be toxic. Maybe, like, again, that's why I say signs has a lot to do. I can say they can be toxic to other people, but I wouldn't say they've ever been toxic to my sign. Like, to the point where it
guys, so we are wrapping the video up. It might be all over the place because we are passionate about this, and we also don't shut up.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I said like 3 times I don't shut up. We're the same.
So thank you so much for sticking through. We're gonna make it as short as possible, but I'm pretty sure it's still long. But make sure to follow, like, share, and subscribe, and please let us know what you think of what we said. Who you think is most toxic? Let us know. We want to hear it.
We want to hear it all.
Yeah, so make sure to follow us on Instagram. Like, my personal account will be here.
My personal account will be here.
And then our account will be here. So stay tuned for the next video. Let us know what you guys want us to do. We haven't been as consistent, but we just need more, I don't know, more ideas.
Let us know what you guys want to see so that we have that like reinforcement that we need, that little extra push right now.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. See you next video.